Lumberjack RJ, let's see what you can do.
No, it's not.
Let me give it a try. Jesus. Today I'm coming to you from Schuylkill County in the Hamburg area and riding on what is known as the John Bartram Trail. This is actually a former Pennsylvania Railroad line, and myself and RJ78 Productions took my e-bikes down here today to see some of the history that you can find along the way. Starting off with this bridge right here. They actually have a little marker here stating that this was built between 1890 and 1905. It's a through truss bridge. Originally trains went across it. Now it's part of the trail that actually goes over an active line. Down below is Reading and Northern. So if you want to learn more and see what there is to find out in this area, all you have to do is come along with us. Looking down there is the Reading and Northern rail line. That's where we have seen 2102 run by for its ramble runs.
Yeah,
and
here's a good view right here.
Oh yeah, definitely. So RJ just pointed out this is a fantastic viewpoint. You got a nice long stretch. Yeah, I can see this being a possible spot in the future for some rail action. It also gives us a nice side profile of the bridge itself. Now, the only downfall about being on the bridge when trains are coming is that it is completely fenced on both sides, so you do have to look through the fence to get any views, but it is a viable option though for those who want to get something different, like an overhead top shot. That is a concrete deck here. And Schuylkill was too thin to plow, too thick to drink. States about the Schuylkill River having common with your backyard barbecue. So here's the view again, not the greatest through the fence line. And the great thing is if you're up here during 2102 running by, plumes of smoke will be rising right in front of you pretty much. But these through truss bridges are pretty awesome. I love the architecture of them, the style, you know, the riveting, and just the aged look to it. It is something else. But I know we have a lot more to see. I'm going to give you some views out on the trail to our different locations, and we'll be making pit stops to show you what there is to see along the way. This is my first time here. RJ is somewhat familiar with the area, but I do know this will take us behind the Port Clinton rail yard area, so we may even be able to hear or see some train action once we get closer to that. I can tell you right at the bat, this is a great trail for e-bikes. It's scenic, it's nice and level. It's not paved, but it doesn't need to be. But you can see definitely the rail bed itself where the trains would have went by. And it's just a gorgeous area. We are here, this is the first week of November, and it's a gorgeous day. Most of the leaves are down, so it makes for a nice colorful trail to ride on. But so far, I really enjoy it. On the left-hand side, you can see a type of rock cut area, and as I pan over, directly behind our bikes is a concrete box, one of many along this trail. And what RJ explained, they're known as battery boxes. These were basically backup power for signals themselves. Yeah, for the signals for the lines. So if they ever lost power, they had backup power. So they would have had batteries in here and a plate covering it. But these are staggered every so often, I guess in the vicinity of a signal. Although we can't see any remnants of it now, you could tell they at least were in the area. We did see one probably about 3/4 of a mile, closer to a mile from where we started. There was a few more of these. They are riding in luxury. That's fantastic.
Yeah, at least I get to walk them over.
Yeah. Have a good day.
You too.
So just a little ways back, we came under a bridge, which was Route 61, the main road that goes through, connects you from Pottsville area to Hamburg and points south. And now we just came through this incredible rock cut. I wanted to stop and show it to you because it's something spectacular. I've seen many of them. This is probably one of the nicest ones I've seen, just with the the size of the mountain here of rocks and the way the trees are and the rock formations. Let me just show you instead of talking about it. Look at that view with the trees. Certainly picture worthy. But as I come over here to the right, I wanted to show you what I was describing. These rock formations are going down at a pretty steep angle. That's how they would go down to the ground beneath the surface. Very similar to how you see like a coal seam or even like limestone. And it's just like a layer right there. But it looks pretty neat. On top of that though, we do have some gorgeous nature's wallpaper, I guess we could call it, since it's on the side here. And RJ made a discovery of a tiger. I would never saw that.
And
Yeah.
here's his viewpoint.
Where's it at?
I put the camera right where he's sitting.
Oh, so that's tiger view.
It's tiger view.
Now RJ did venture up to the top of the rock cut here to give you some views and different perspective of things, including some findings of an old telegraph pole. So if you want to see what's like up there, be sure to check out his video. And we are proximity very close to Port Clinton, specifically the Reading Northern yard, which is maybe within eyesight as we get down farther. So we'll see if we get any shots of that. Alright, so out to the right down below you can't see the outskirts of the Port Clinton yard. Got some open coal hopper cars there. That's because just up ahead through the trees you can see some red buildings. That is the actual yard of Port Clinton for Reading and Northern. But we made a pit stop here because there's a sign that says Making Mountains, and it explains about deep ocean deposits that settle, eventually become rock, and erosion. Basically what it's getting to is this right here. That is pretty impressive. That big rock feature is just kind of jutting out, and I'd say it's probably at least 30 to 40 feet tall. I'm actually going to walk up there to give you a scale reference of size, but it is gargantuan though. For once it actually feels small, especially my head. Compare to this. Yeah, when someone stands in front of it, you really get a good perspective as to how big that is. And pretty fascinating how it's formed. hell did I hit? I was trying to ride up there. I just freaking hit like a wall or a hole. Got several idling diesel locomotives down there. I believe this trail brings you down to part of the yard, so we should be able to get a closer look. The other thing I like about this trail is every few miles they do have designated picnic areas with either benches and or picnic tables. And despite the rumbling of the diesel locomotives, this is a really nice area to sit back, relax, if you want to read a book, eat your lunch, or just sit and talk with your friends. I really like that they have these here. So right here, right above the rail yard area, is a sign stating about how old do you think the railroad station is. On the picture, you're welcome to pause it. But this is the same location where they store 2102, the T1, and the Blue Beauty, number 425, amongst other things like the RDCs, various rail cars. So this is a real nice hub of railroad equipment, to say the least. Even some former Norfolk Southern stuff down there. But this is also a station stop for some of the runs that they do. RDCs pick up here, 425 picks up here, 2102 for various runs like the autumn foliage run, Iron Horse Ramble runs. I've also been through here too in the RDCs when we went from Pottsville to Jim Thorpe. So this is also open to the public too. You can come here and get what is called like a day pass. If you go inside, see the receptionist, you can get a pass, and you actually have permission to walk around the grounds and go in some of the buildings as long as you clear it with the personnel inside that they're not doing anything dangerous. But it's one of the few places that you can actually come to, you know, explore more, not just from a distance, but actually go inside, see the equipment up close. That's something I'm going to be doing in the near future. I know Jamie and Randy did it already. I was supposed to do it that day, but I was not able to attend. But I do have plans to come in the near future to show you what this place has to offer for the general public. Appalachian National Scenic Trail. So this trail we're on now actually merges with this trail. So the Appalachian Trail actually goes up on the mountain just to the left of the trail we're on. It's not bike friendly, but it's certainly worthy of hiking.
Try it.
There's a couple more plaques up here, we'll see. Let's meet in Port Clinton. The charming town across the river from where you stand has been the place to come together for centuries. Many transportation routes have been routed through this gap that the Schuylkill River cut through the mighty Blue Mountain. And it has like a timeline from pre-colonial time to present day. From 1816 to 1825, the Schuylkill Canal was constructed through the gap. It says today, it's a meeting place for different kinds of travelers. The Appalachian Trail, Bartram Trail converge in Port Clinton. So I was partially correct. The trail does go down to the Port Clinton yard. And it's actually right down here, down the embankment. So it's not something you can ride down, but that is the access down there. I actually see a billboard down there stating that it's the access point for the Bartram Trail. So there is close access. It's just not really bike friendly. Oh yeah, so there's kind of makeshift steps made out of stone that take you down there, and you have to cross over the tracks. So it's my understanding that this trail did kind of go down in lower elevation to come down to the Port Clinton yard, but it doesn't really do that. It's just an access point right here. But the trail does continue, so we're going to continue and see what else there is along the way. So as we're coming down this gorgeous tree-lined section of trail, I wanted to show you something. Earlier we saw those battery boxes for the signals. Well, we actually have a base here for probably a signal bridge. You can actually see there's the anchor bolts coming out, 4 of them. So if you would imagine, it'd be a metal structure going up, over, and down. And it'd be a signal bridge here, which means in the vicinity there is, or at least was, another battery box. It could have been removed during altering of the trail, but at least we get to see what the base of the signals themselves look like. But I'm just astounded by this gorgeous scene here. So I made a little discovery. My curious eyes were looking off to the side, and I saw something man-made. And at first it appears to be a culvert, but I don't think that's what it is. It's almost like a little spring. And there is water in it. And it's actually some cold air. I wonder if there's like a little natural underground spring. Look at some gorgeous nature's carpet next to it as well. But it's encased in like, might be limestone. Doesn't go back any further. If you guys have any other thoughts what you think it might be, feel free to let me know. So something else I want to point out is that tree right there. You see it? Well, from this view, it looks like any ordinary tree. But as I come down, what do you see where it's growing from? It appears it's growing out of a fallen tree. The huge trunk right there ends, and that part is rotted. So this is actually part of a living tree right here. Roots are growing down. So a fallen tree essentially kind of came to life and sprouted out a whole new tree. I've honestly never seen that before. That is something else. And of course, nice shag carpet on it. Yeah, it's like velvet. That is pretty neat. I've said it time and time again, nature adapts, and it certainly did in this case. Yeah, so that's essentially where it used to stand, toppled over.
Oh, there's another piece of it coming off that way.
That is certainly impressive. I don't know why. I find that rather fascinating. If you ever seen anything like that before, let me know. Lumberjack RJ, let's see what you could do.
No, it's not quite there yet.
Let me give it a try.
It's soft. Just make sure the top doesn't break before you. There you go.
Woohoo!
It really does make a sound.
Nothing to see here, please!
Alright, you work on that part. I'll come back.
Yeah, he's stronger than me.
As you're watching, do me a favor, comment down below. Tell me if you enjoy these rail trail videos, because I certainly enjoy making them for you. These are a load of fun, and you get to see a lot of unique things along the way. So let me know your feedback down below. Further along the line, we came upon this cutaway section, and it's in the side of the embankment here, or the hill, and it's made out of concrete. And my first thought was maybe this is a filling station for the PRR. Could have been maybe a water tower here of sorts, because it is on a hill, so gravity fed water maybe. Could have been a tank up higher. So that is situated right there next to the rail bed. But as we walk a little further past my bike, there is actually more foundations here. Actually, it looks like several of them, but right here in front of us though is another signal base. A two-parter, if you want to call it that. So there's this one here, which is notched out in the middle, 2 anchor bolts on each pad. And this one here is notched in the middle as well, different shape, different design, 4 anchor bolts with the nuts still on them. So probably various signals were here and or markers for the railroad. So we found probably one of the best seating areas along this trail. Coming around this big sweeping curve here, and this picnic table's here, but in front of it is a big sweeping curve of the rail lines. There was a good chance, decent chance of catching a train coming by, and just below that is the river, the Schuylkill River. And this time of year you could see everything pretty clear since all the leaves are down, but I'm going to give you a moment just to kind of listen to what we hear. It is really remote, peaceful, and relaxing here. And this is our view. We're going to sit here. We're going to sit here and enjoy a few moments of silence in nature here. This is a nice straightaway. I can only imagine a steam locomotive come barreling down here.
I'm saying that when I was on top of that other rock side. I can imagine a PRR coming.
Yeah.
Random game, no problem.
Yeah. Another rock cut. Gorgeous out right now. It's probably in the middle 60s. Sun's blaring down. It feels great. How you doing? So what we're walking on right now and that we just rode across is essentially an old rail bridge. Not a through truss bridge, more of a girder type bridge. It's obviously been redone, resurfaced. It's a concrete deck with some metal guardrails here. And it goes right over the river, offers some great views upstream. But the other side is even more intriguing because the rail bridge there has a unique design. RJ says it's called the chutes because each little chamber water passes through, and he actually says kayakers come down here and end up going through there. Now you can see it actually is partially plugged up there with some debris, but it is open on those right ones. So pretty unique. Not completely open, almost like little individual chambers. Now this bridge does lead into a through truss bridge, but up ahead here I'm going to show you it is actually fenced off. It's not completed yet, so in just a moment we'll get a look at that. Now what we've come to is kind of an impasse. You can't go any further. There is a fence up here because the trail is not completed, although the rail line does continue, because as we look through there is a through truss bridge and the rail ties are still on there. The reason why it's not complete is because if it was to go straight through, it actually goes through someone's personal property now. It's actually a farm there, and I guess they're going to try to reroute it somehow to go adjacent to the property instead of through it. So there are plans to finish this in the future, but right now this is as far as we could go. But you can see the decking that they've redone stops right there, and it will eventually meet up and continue through that bridge. So they do have a map here saying about closing the Auburn Gap gateway to Schuylkill County, and what RJ pointed out is kind of upsetting, I guess you could say, based on what I just shared with you. So shows we're right here, and the way the path is going to go, it's actually not going to go across this bridge. Although it appears like that, the way the map shows, it's actually going to curve off to the left here, where that essentially like a dirt road is, and it's going to cross over the rails that are crossing up there, and then kind of backtrack somewhere off in that direction. So this bridge is not going to be utilized. Hopefully it's still going to stay intact at least, but it's kind of hard to even like visualize that it's not going to go over it, because it's essentially leading straight to it. So it is unfortunate that we can't continue any further in this direction, because I want to keep going. It's a really nice trail. But, okay, another thing too, we did cover 6 miles. I actually have a marker right here. We've traveled 6 miles from where we started, so we're going to be doing about 12 miles round trip. But sign states 2022 that this is supposed to be completed. Well, November 2022, not yet. So hopefully early 2023 this will be completed so you can keep going. But I have to say that this trail is fantastic, especially this time of year. Luckily the weather's cooperating. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's now well into the 60s. A couple of the shady areas were a bit cooler, but overall I love the scenery, the views, the peacefulness, the tranquility. It's unlike other trails I've been on where you can hear traffic, or there's neighborhoods nearby, or an abundance of people. This is rather remote, but you're still not that far away from things. But it makes it feel like you are much farther away. But you got the river, the rails, and history of the PRR. So this was a great trail and a fantastic way to do it on the e-bikes. I rode the Engwe Engine Pro. RJ rode my JCon EB7. I will have links to those down below in the description if you want to check them out to get more information for yourself. But I'd also love to hear your feedback. Let me know what you thought of the views, the things that we saw, and obviously if you have input on anything we shared, you're welcome to share it so that not only myself but others can take it in and learn from others. So thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks to RJ for taking me here, and until next time, I'll see you in the next video.
You're welcome.